Hey everyone, Austin here, dropping by to let you know that we will be in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend for Anime Week in Atlanta from October 31st until November 3rd. We have a whole bunch of panels that we're doing on both Saturday and Sunday, and you can find our full convention schedule over on our website at thirdimpactanime.com. We hope to see some of you there, but if you can't make it, we hope you have a happy Halloween!
Hi, welcome to Third Impact Anime. Today we are here to talk about the summer season of 2019. We finished up some samples and we are here as the team that is actually done with stuff, although maybe not quite entirely. I have here with me Edwin.
Yo.
And Tori.
Howdy.
And I'm Sarah. And yeah, so guys, what have you guys been into lately?
Playing spooky games for Halloween.
Ooh, like what? Which games?
Dead Space and Deadly Premonition.
Ooh, Dead Space.
Dead Space is really good.
Right now, I don't want to play spooky games, so I'm just listening to KKB.
What's KKB?
Kero Kero Bonito.
Well, Edwin, if you're done, I've just
yeah,
been
I'm
watching. I'm gonna talk over you anyway, even if you're not.
Wow.
I gotta keep up my rude, aloof character trope here. So I've been just marathoning spooky movies, basically. I rewatched Candyman, and I forgot how stressful that movie is. It's really good, though. And I binge-watched a trilogy of movies called Hell House LLC, and it basically is a found footage type of movie, and I usually hate those, but this one is really good. It's about a group of, I don't know if they're college age or more like into their adult years, but they open a haunted house attraction within like this old abandoned hotel, and the movie was actually shot in a real haunted house attraction, and it's pretty cool, pretty spooky. It gets real crazy and wild by the third movie, but they're really good and a lot of fun, so
LLC as in like a company?
Yes.
Like it's just what?
Yes, that is the title of the movie.
That's a
Hell
bad
House
movie title.
LLC. Huh.
Yeah.
Man, they were lazy with that title.
Well, they're not lazy with the movie, so that's good.
That's good, yeah. Does that cover everything already?
Well,
Guys.
no, what have you been watching and reading and or doing?
Oh gosh, working a lot.
That doesn't count.
I know. 'Tis the season. I have been watching and rewatching stuff like Train to Busan and
That's a good one.
the original Evil Dead, which it's a movie.
It's indeed a movie.
That's pretty much it in terms of horror stuff. I finished up Kimetsu no Yaiba and need to check out the dub because apparently that's pretty decent. That's pretty much it. I've been too busy to do much, guys.
Well.
I know, so it goes. Getting that paycheck.
Getting that bread, as the kids say.
Or it can be like me and sacrifice sleep.
That's who. Oh wait, that's the other thing. I finally beat Kingdom Hearts 3. Like a solid 8 months later.
Oh, it's okay. Better late than never.
You aren't missing much.
Yeah, so, I mean, just in time for that DLC, you know? It's fine.
Yeah.
let's just get into summer shows then. First up, Edwin, you wanted to talk about the Dumbbell one.
Oh man, I'm so sad that it's finally over. I'm
no.
I'm definitely gonna miss my weekly dose of Saito Chesto. Machio was definitely like the all-star of the show. Him and along with the girls. That show just has everything. It's funny, it gives real lift fitness advice, and has charismatic characters. Like everything you need to make a good slice of life show.
Mm-hmm. I think you said it before, but they actually legitimately teach you how to properly exercise, right?
Of course. Look, this show encourages weebs to go out and improve themselves. Look at it that way. If that show made me go out to the gym almost every day, I'm sure there's countless other weebs out there who are doing the exact same thing as I am.
You're not wrong. No, I like when shows do stuff like that, though. I haven't watched it yet, but Dr. Stone apparently teaches you real science. Like you could recreate the experiments and stuff they do, apparently, if you have the access to the materials. There's a lot of cooking anime that will show you how to make the recipes and stuff they made in the show, so that's always really cool. It's like a interesting, interactive, like, go along with the show type element.
Yeah, I have no complaints about a show that basically it took a premise like exercising and made it so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's another show that's kind of similar to it in a way where it's kind of boring premise for me, which is the currently airing Hokago Saikoro Club, which is the after school dice club anime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's about board games, and usually I'm not the type of person to get into board games, but after watching the first 3 episodes so far, I definitely want to pick up every single game they've shown off so far.
Mm-hmm. And I think I saw somebody say that everything that they feature in that show is a real board game, right?
It is.
That's cool.
Oh, that's lit.
So it's
Is it like...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Is it like essentially kind of just a little like each episode is a different board game that they just kind of learn to play?
So far, that's how it is, and that's what I'm guessing that it's going to be in future episodes. But it's similar to the Dumbbell anime, where each episode was a different exercise, and at the end of the episodes they would show you how to do it, and you would have to do it along with the characters.
Would you say that the Dumbbell anime ultimately like lived up to your initial expectations overall?
I have really high expectations, mostly because of the studio who worked on it was the same one who did Yudu Yuri and Nozaki-kun.
That's a good show.
Nice.
So,
those are both good.
Yeah, I love those 2 shows, so I was like, they're going to hit another home run with this show, which they did.
Good. Is it, so, in terms of the plot of the show, is it really just kind of literal slice of life, or are there, like, character relationships that kind of go somewhere?
Not really. It's literally a slice of life where they just exercise, but at the very end of the series, you do see the main character. She steps onto a scale, and she jumps off really happy. It's so adorable.
Aww.
That's good. So did she even actually get fit, or was it more about her like, I'm happy with myself if I'm constantly striving to be better type of thing?
I would say the latter. You definitely see that she actually has fun going to the gym. And
that's good.
Yeah, I have a very similar sentiment with that, where if you do something enough times, and if you do it with friends, and if you find a way to make it entertaining, then it works out in the end. And that's how it was for the main character.
Yeah, and I think too, I really do want to check the show out, because I've seen a lot of people, not just you, like, oh, this turned out to be way better than I expected, given the first couple episodes. But I think if we had more shows like that kind of, that sounds bad, like normalize taking care of yourself and like making it into a fun thing, like that sounds so bad, I know,
I
but
think
like...
this is a ploy by the Japanese government to make weeks go out.
Kind of like Darling in the Franxx was a ploy to have babies, right?
Yeah. They're hand in hand.
But yeah, like those things in a healthy way should be fun, so it's like good to see that because of that show you went out and did something and like made something that most people are like, this is not fun, I hate it, into something fun. So
Yeah, it's like different people can get motivation from different areas, so it's nice to have that venue to maybe inspire people to go try new shit.
Man, I just need cute girls doing cute things in anime. That's all it really
Right.
takes.
Valid.
Exactly. The biggest motivator.
You mean that, like, ripped, one guy with the, like, Bishi face isn't what gets you going to the gym, Edwin?
Hey now, put some respect on Machio's name.
They need to start hanging posters of him in Planet Fitness, and then maybe, like, people would get good.
Maybe I will. Don't give me that idea.
Carry a photo of him in your wallet like your child.
I mean, I already carry a photo of Ultraman in my wallet, so...
Oh, boy.
What's one more?
Close enough, yeah.
We'll unpack that later. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, anything else about Dumbells?
I want a
Any
season
other-
2, and
Yeah,
I want it ASAP. I might just go out and read the manga.
I guess we should probably ask this for everything we've talked about, because I think we did it last time around. Would you recommend this to somebody else? It sounds like yes, but...
Let me think about it. Yes.
Yes, okay. And is it done airing?
It's done airing, unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I think most of everything we're talking about is done airing.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Next up on the agenda is something I must address before we get into like stuff that I had talked previously of, or Tori, and that is ensemble stars. If you missed the other group's podcast recently, Tobias thought that he was free from ensemble stars hell, and he was in fact not. That thing's going for another 12 episodes, baby.
We need to make that man suffer.
Yeah, it's fine. And as a fan, as someone who's a huge fan of the game and the story in the game and the art in the game, the anime is definitely lacking in a lot of areas for me. I'm just throwing my opinion out there really fast. It's really cute. It is. Actually, I find the dub to be freaking hilarious because they kind of take it and they look at this ridiculous content of this show about idol contests being talked about in a way that they're like war or something.
God.
And they just turn it, they're like, there's no way we can make this as serious as it is supposed to be, so we're gonna make this a comedy show now. It's a comedy show. Let's roll. So the dub's actually pretty interesting sometimes. Of course, fans of the game and the original voice actors are pretty nitpicky about casting and things like that don't ultimately matter that much. It's like, as long as people are having fun with the role and embodying the character, who cares? But OnStars as a show is doing this weird jumpy thing where it's incorporating stories from the game that were originally just tied to like certain events or certain prequel kind of events, and tying them into the main story that was written way before any of those event stories were written. So when you mash all of that together, logically it just doesn't work very well. And they're doing it in a way to kind of show, here's this thing happening because this thing happened in the past, but then it's like, okay, but why are we jumping all over the place? Why not just show it linearly? Or like, certain things are just ultimately written better than the main story that was written first, and that's very just basic, one note, here we go.
That really doesn't work whenever they do that, whenever they don't maintain that consistency in the writing.
Yeah, so it has its moments that are interesting, and definitely the performances are really good, usually, overall. And yeah, but I definitely agree with Tobias that I struggle to recommend it to anybody who's not like a fan of the game or like really likes idol things and wants something new to watch, which is a little unfortunate because
it just doesn't have that wide appeal that other shows do within the same genre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, definitely... Oh, go.
No, you finish your thought and then I'll...
Oh, well, definitely there are idol shows that I would recommend to, like, literally anybody. I would say Idol 7. go watch it right now. Go. 'Cause like outside of being an idol show, it's also just a really good like show to watch visually, and also the story has decent conflict and decent character development and interaction to like make it interesting to watch even if you do not care about idols one iota. But Tori, what were you gonna say?
Is OnStars, I guess, more of a niche idol thing? Because I don't know much about it more than like what I've heard you talk about it. So I'm guessing maybe what the issue is with a lot of other things, like take like Love Live or Bandori, or even like Idolmaster. Like I feel like you don't really have to play those games to be able to sit down and watch the show equivalent of them, because they kind of start from the beginning. So I guess in a roundabout way I'm asking like what makes like OnStars so different? Like why can't you just like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like just the way the story is split up. It's done in a way where the main story is kind of its own little thing, and then there's all of these side stories that tie into it, and you can just kind of read the stories you want to read, or
Gotcha.
like play the events you want to play because you're interested in what that story is going to be.
So it's kind of like Fate Grand Order in the sense that like the newest season of the anime adapts like chapter 7 or 8 of the game, and there's no way in hell you could recommend anybody just sitting down and watching that.
God, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, pretty much like yeah, and the anime like tries to take the most relevant side stories and like blend them in there, and it just doesn't work out, kind of thing.
Ultimately, it seems like it's a glorified commercial for the game.
Yeah, especially because they're getting an actual like rhythm game soon, like in the next couple of months. So that was the big.
I did hear
that's
about
like
that.
Yeah, that's like why it ended up happening, was to ultimately promote the franchise a whole bunch before the rhythm game, which is fine. Like Ensemble Stars music is great, and the rhythm game looks pretty good? Question mark. So we'll find out.
How can they mess it up?
I know.
Fingers crossed.
So that's ultimately my opinion on Ensemble Stars. I think the best like takeaway I have from it was something that I literally said somewhere in a chat in our private Discord for Third Impact, and it was like the director couldn't like frame a shot or frame his way out of a paper bag with a shot. Like there's no rhyme or reason to the way anything's lined up. Like it just doesn't look pretty, which is really sad because the art in the game is so pretty and so well composed. But yeah, it's really sad. But that's ultimately my opinion on OnStars. I do still love it. I am still watching it. I have actually like cried at one point during it. So it does affect me. It's just like critically speaking, it ain't great.
Just as long as it's making you cry because of how bad it is.
Ooh, sometimes, but not literally.
Oof. Big oof.
That's
Oh,
rough.
big oof. Yeah. Listen, we all can't get the pretty shots of Fire Force. That's where all the good David Pro people went.
We don't talk about that show
What
on
a
this
shame.
podcast.
Fire Force, you mean Premiere?
Yeah, Premiere. Let's talk about that one instead.
Let's talk about that one instead. Yeah, that's good. Himbo Central.
Next on the list is the mom anime, aka Do You Love Your Mom and Her 2-Hit Multi-Target Attacks.
I'll let y'all take that.
I don't want to.
Here, I'll start. I talked about it in the Team A original one for this season, and I did not finish it, even though apparently Edwin has.
Yeah, I
Yes,
just had to watch it
and
for the
Bill
Ada
has.
Ada from Mamako.
Yeah, that's really nice. But yeah, so I didn't finish it. I kind of hit the end of the mini arc in like episode 8, and I was like, it's time to start a new arc. Do I want to do that, or do I want to do literally anything else? And then I made my decision.
Oh yeah.
What a wise decision. But
Thank you. You want to tell me how that?
Yeah.
Did I?
You took one for the team, Edwin, so you tell us, because I was interested in watching this because it seemed really funny, and like the premise was really funny to me, but then people
Same.
kept talking about the like weird stuff that was happening, and I'm like, oh, that's not my territory. I'm good.
it was very, very
kidding.
dark territory.
Do what, Edwin?
It was a very dark and scary place.
Yeah, sounds like it. Okay, go on. You tell us all about it.
Alright, Sarah, so you left off right before the anti-mom brigade?
Ooh, yes. Yeah, I left off right when
His
they
mom
got
has
the healer in their
haters?
party.
Wait, say that again?
I said his mom has haters?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thinks of
no.
all moms.
Okay, oh no.
Alright, so ultimately the show ends with this character called Alamante, and she's the first main villain that they encounter. She's the leader of this anti-mom brigade. And yeah, Mamako does have some haters, but Mamako... Man, Mamako's got more fans than BTS, I'll tell you that much.
Oh no. Jimin is quaking.
Armies.
Which stands will win.
Oh god, okay.
Okay, basically, there's this group that hates Mamako because she's like the ultimate perfect mom, according to the show. But it turns out that they were being manipulated by this one character who definitely wants to get rid of all the moms in the world. She basically wants to double Thanos them.
Ooh.
And she sees that Mamako's like an obstacle to her end goal, so she wants to get rid of her. So there's this tower, and at the very top of the tower, basically if you get to the top you can make any wish, and she was going to get there and wish that Mamako and all the other moms were deleted from this world.
So it's like Madoka
Oh.
with the witches, but not as good.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they're just kicked out of a game instead of like
The entire universe.
yeah.
The only other thing I was going to say was it did have the show itself did have some nice gags every now and then, but my main problem with the show was actually Mamako herself. She felt too
Interesting.
much of a Mary Sue character, and there was basically no character development for her throughout the entire series. She's basically the same day one throughout the entire show. Masato, the main character, he's like, why do you get to do everything? So he acknowledges that she's a Mary Sue, but she never really changes personality wise. She's always the same goofy mom, and that's I wish the show did a little bit more than that, like a little bit more where she recognizes her own flaws with she's not connecting as well with her son as she could have. Another thing was with the other moms. Do you recall the I believe it was Wise and Medi's mom? How they basically were abusing their children, and the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It was like, yeah, and both times it was like, oh, sorry, mind control. But then it's like, from what you've said, they were doing pretty much the same thing their entire lives up until that point, so you can't really just kind of magic that away.
And another thing is, well, here in the West, we can't really notice, but in Japan, there's more of a theme where you're supposed to be obedient to your mother, no matter how she treats you. And I think that kind of aspect from the show really disconnects with Western viewers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very much like, oh, I'm just doing what's best for you. And then it's like, you're sitting there verbally abusing and slapping your daughter right now. What if you didn't do that?
Maybe, question mark.
Yeah. Like, and then it's just this ultimate question of like, oh, well, no matter what, you should love and accept your mom and like be able to forgive them if they're like not the best mom ever, because not everyone can be like Mamako and be the perfect mom, which like, I guess on a surface level that's nice, but when your mom sucks, you shouldn't be obligated to like hang around that, you know?
Absolutely.
But that's more of a
Like-
Western thing. We can't really connect with those characters the same way like that.
Yeah, it's just not, yeah.
Ultimately, it's not worth a watch for anyone unless you're super big into isekais.
Yeah, the character designs were really, really cute, which was part of my initial draw to the series. Some of the jokes are actually super hilarious, but like...
The bomb that was crying. Did you
Oh
get to
no!
that? So
Didn't
there
you
was
say
a bomb.
she like? Okay, go
She
ahead.
soothes. So there's like a bomb that's about to detonate, and Mamako, what she does is she literally soothes the bomb because it's literally crying like a baby.
Oh no, we all need that at one point in our lives. I feel I could have used that like today at work.
I mean, that little gag I did like because the bomb, you know how basically it's like comparing children to bombs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Like, yeah, when they're about to have a tantrum and whatnot.
Yes, and I work with a lot of
Metaphors.
kids, and it's funny because like the littlest thing can like set them off, but the littlest thing can like just immediately turn it off because they're mostly just crying because they didn't get their way. Like if their parent tells them no and you're like, oh, here's a sticker, they immediately just stop. Like it's done. So that's funny. That's very genuinely funny.
Yeah, there were a few good moments like that, but ultimately, like, the level of, like, unoriginality and, like, just, like, lack of direction for the show kind of turned me off.
I think, too, it's because so many of those shows within the past few years have just, like, permeated the scene, and they just keep coming out and coming out and coming out, and eventually they can only do so many things that are unique.
Well, of course, it's like isekai anime is effectively the modern mecha or the modern magical girl anime.
Yeah,
where they
but
have
you
to
know,
churn it out.
I enjoy watching giant robots, and I enjoy watching, you know, magical girls kick ass.
Well, you
It's
haven't
just
watched
like,
bad shows like in the same genre.
well, yes, but it's like at the end of the day, I don't enjoy watching a whiny boy being like, "Oh no, like all these girls love me." Like I don't care about that. Like
See, you can't put yourself in those shoes.
no, I don't want to. I know
I
all
don't-
the girls already love me. I don't need to.
Hey.
But kind of just a side tangent, I started watching that new one that came out this season, Ascension of the Bookworm, or Ascending, or
Oh,
Ascendance of the
yeah.
Bookworm, or something like
That
that.
one looks cute, yeah.
And I was really impressed by the first episode. Like the art's a little at times, but like looking past that, like I am very genuinely enjoying that. It's really funny. Bless this poor little girl. Like I hope things get better for her. And just hearing people online talk about like how much they enjoyed the novel and how well like fleshed out that novel was. And I'm hoping that's going to come into the anime and carry out the same way. So it's not that I like
Just as long as they
hate-
do justice to the manga effectively, right?
Yes, right. So it's not that I'm like opposed to this genre at all. Like I can feel people like coming to kill me now. It's just like it's just so repetitive and boring. So
Yeah.
it takes something truly different or truly unique to like make it better.
Yeah, I definitely remember hitting like a wall with isekais for a long, long time, to the point where I was just like, I need any kind of normal fantasy anime that's not about a dude who randomly gets dropped into another world.
Yeah,
And then I
and
found
he's-
Grand Blue Fantasy, and then it was great. If you want a straight up fantasy that's really simple, that one's fine. But yeah, so mom anime, not recommended.
No, not at all.
Not really. I mean,
Unless you're Bill.
Unless you're a Bill.
Let's just say, how about I'll say it, because, you know, I'm the hot taker. This show caters to a certain demographic, and it ain't us, so.
spare.
How about that? Does that sound good?
Valid.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay, great.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
して大人ぶってるシンデレラはキラキラ窮屈でガラスの靴を脱ぎ捨てた背伸びやめて力抜いて深呼吸してそうだよ楽しもう今の私をあっという間の夢を大切にして
Next up, maybe with better results and a more positive overall vibe. No, all right, never mind. Is Maidens. Go, Tori. Hit us. You haven't talked much about it.
So, I spent the time that I got home up until, like, just about up until we were about to record catching up, and I've just never been more infuriated by anything in my life.
Oh, no.
Here,
That's really not true.
Let me start
Okay,
it off. I ain't no high school girl, but Mario Kart made me feel like one. I'm sorry.
Well, I was a high school girl in spirit once, and I have to say that while most of these things in this show happened, a lot of them didn't, so I was very confused most of the time.
Oh, no.
Maybe you just didn't go to a Japanese school.
That's probably it, yeah. I think, the only thing that even came close, so let me just get this out before I, like, go and actually talk about the show, but, like, okay, let me preface. So my problem that I got into later on, especially with the subplots of, like, the girl forcing herself onto her teacher, and, I'm so sorry that I'm spoiling, like, most of this for you, Sarah.
It's okay.
Is this,
And then-
are you talking about Hongo?
Yes, and then...
That was so creepy.
And then
did not
Nina
like that.
being groomed by her, like, ballet teacher, her, like, theater teacher or whatever.
Ooh.
So that's where it started to get a little, like, I'm using this loosely, like, fantastical for me, because it seemed in the beginning that it was very rooted in, like, this main high school girl who I really need to talk about how, like, relatable that the main girl was. Her and Sonozaki were, like, my two favorite characters, because every time they did something I was just like, oh my god, me, I've been there, I feel that, I'm crying for you, I feel so bad for you, like, I just want to grab you and be like, I'm sorry. Frick Nina, ooh, Nina, oh my god.
You want to slap that girl, don't you?
I really do. Like, I feel bad for her because of what happened to her, but at the same time, I'm just like, you are an evil bitch, and,
But
like...
more, I hate because of what she almost did to her friendship. She almost ruined friendships over a boy.
I know, bros before hoes. Anyways. So, those two plot points, to get back, felt a little too fantastical, because, like, while the average high school girl, is going to have those awkward feelings of, like, romance and, like, sexuality and, like, things, especially towards people that they're interested in, and, like, these are feelings that they're not quite understanding and, like, growing into. The amount of people who, like, force themselves upon their teacher, or vice versa, or, like, are groomed by their, like, theatrics teacher, while I know that these things happen because I have known people that have been in these situations, like, the experience of that for somebody is much more slim, so it felt kind of, like, out of the left field, sort of. Like, does that make sense, Edwin?
It's something you couldn't normally connect with.
No. Whereas, like, at times, the other stuff that the characters were going through, I was just like, oh yeah, like, I understand. I've been through that. I've known somebody who's been through that. I've felt that way. And I read a criticism of the show the other day that was just like, parts of the show are really good, but the parts don't make the whole good. And I have to really agree with that, and I feel like people are gonna, like, disagree with me on this, but there are really good and great and fantastic character moments in this show. Like, one of the girls, the main girl, I feel so bad I can't remember her name. She's
Kazusa.
just like, yes, thank you. She's just like, I'm so ugly, like, why would this person like me when look at all these other, like, way better and more beautiful people that this person could be with? And I'm like, okay, that's a feeling that I've had, and, like, I will make myself vulnerable enough to say that. But, like, overall, like, those character moments, I just feel like didn't completely knock it out of the park together. Also, the guy that she was into is so stupid. How do you, like, look at the girl you're dating and be like, I love you, but I'm sexually attracted to this girl instead? Like, I would have killed him. I would have just murdered him.
He's honest, but there's just times you can't be honest like that.
Yeah, it was a case of, like, doing what he thought was right, but it turned out wrong, and that happens. Like, that is a part of being a person and growing up. Like, you think it's right to say this thing, but it just makes things worse. And, like, you know, I felt physically ill during that scene. Like, I felt so bad for her, and she was really upset too, but, like, she understood what he meant, and, like, good for her. Like, good for her for being
At least
mature.
she
You're
isn't
like,
that
I
dense.
know.
Do what, Sarah?
I was like, you're just over here like, good for you. I don't get it.
It's rough. Like, it really is, like, in your savage season for a reason.
My main criticism is, like, as you're experiencing all these girls struggle with their budding sexuality, I didn't think they did Momo justice.
Oh no, that's another thing that made me really upset, because they just made her, like, crazy. They just made her come across as crazy. And she was like, I was so hoping that this show was gonna go into like LGBT sort of stuff, because that is a big thing for, you know, I feel like that's when a lot of kids, you know, realize that they're starting to have these feelings is in high school. And they just did her so dirty. They made her come across as, like, this crazy woman who, like, just, I don't know, Edwin, go ahead.
Okay.
It pissed me off.
The way I saw it was, she didn't know what to do with her feelings, and she was just afraid of being rejected, and she didn't want to accept that over anything. But I will say they kind of remedied it towards the end, at the very end of the series, where they showed her with Nina, and they did keep it a bit vague and ambiguous. And exactly. So,
and I tried to, so, like, with a lot of Mario Okada stuff, like, a lot of her stuff is just very, like, metaphorical. Like, at the surface level, it is gross, sort of, at times. Like, the whole thing with the girl and her teacher, which, by the way, the teacher could have, like, rejected it at any time, and he did, but not enough. But if you kind of, like, look at that in the sense of girls that age, I find, feel like they have to, like, over-sexualize themselves to be, like, worth anything. And I guess if you kind of read that relationship as, like, in that way, like, yeah, that could be a metaphor for that, I suppose. But I don't know, I'm kind of just lost at Nina's whole thing. Like, I just want to take that at face value and be like, yeah, like, that's a creep.
Here's the thing,
like,
with Nina. Nina's has always been praised throughout her entire life. So when she eventually wasn't getting things the way she wanted to, she was definitely acting a bit irrational and not of her own character.
Yes, okay, I can see that. And, you know, there were a couple things that stuck out to me that I think they could have gone further into. So, for instance, when Nina forced herself on her friend's boyfriend on the train, which that was a clever bitch move for her to do that, because she knew that boy was into that kind of stuff. And I was like, ooh, you're smart. Hoping that she was gonna, like, get him to react. And he may have physically, like, I don't know, like, she kind of made that quip to him, but I mean, who knows? So, like, she forced herself upon him, and then this whole girl, like, the whole arc of the girl forcing herself upon her teacher, like, that's basically, like, sexual assault onto a man. And that's just not something that gets talked about very often. So I think that kind of was an untapped story thing they could have gone into, but I definitely understand that they were trying to focus on the girls because that was the most of most importance. And you know, we don't see stories about things like this handled as well as this was. I have my gripes with it. I definitely think that, you know, there are things that could have been handled better, but
speaking about I know it's a smaller segment that you mentioned earlier, but something I did enjoy about the show was its use of metaphors.
yes.
Do you recall the ending scene where with the train
Which one?
where she said it fit?
Oh yeah, that was in like the first or second episode.
Yeah,
God, that
exactly.
killed me. That was so
But
funny.
it was also at the very end of the series, and basically you could interpret that in several ways. You know, as in like she got her like youthful self like under control. Obviously, the more literal one where she actually got with Izumi. Another thing was the use of color in the show. I don't know if you noticed, like, what's her name? Nina?
Nina, yeah.
Yeah, you know how she's, like, very white, pale skin? Well, you can take that as she's pure.
Yeah,
but then,
the pure virginal type.
exactly. And then, I believe, towards the end of the series, they do the color tag. And, what's her name? The main character again? I blanked out. I told you earlier.
You did. I'm so bad at character names. I can never remember.
Kazusa.
Eyebrow girl.
Yes. Kazusa and Izumi, they chose blue. And you could see it as, you know, like the blues of from growing up and whatnot.
Yeah, which is something that they talk about, that they're in their blues of youth or something. And I'm like, oh, that's deep. Sure.
I don't know. I like noticing little things like that.
Yeah, no, color is definitely, like, a very valid way to play with, like, metaphor and emotion. So, like, that's good that that stands out, because I'm sure that whenever they were, you know, coloring these scenes or, like, taking into account those things, that this was something that they thought about. So, I did, too, like, I didn't think I was going to talk about this so much, because it just made me feel some type of way, but, like, the, part with Nina where she punches that guy in the face. God, that felt so good.
Are you talking about the part with the creeper where they go and eat?
Yes. And because, you know, I understand her train of thought where she, like, leading up to that, where she was just like, I hate myself so much, and if I do this adult act that has been touted throughout my entire life as this, like, metamorphosis, it's gonna make me a new person, a better person, and I'm just like, no, like, that's not the case. Like, don't give somebody that power over you, because you can, like, change yourself. It doesn't have to be, you know, intimacy with another person. But when she just, like, oh my God, that felt so good. I felt that punch. I was so proud of her, and I was just like, I hate you, but I love you. You're great.
Yeah, ultimately, I will say the show did feel a bit rushed. Like we mentioned earlier, characters like Momo weren't fully developed. But, however, I did feel satisfied with Kazusa and Sonozaki's ending.
Yeah.
It's definitely not Okada's finest work, but it does follow a lot of the characteristics of her show. I was expecting maybe a slightly more depressing ending, but I'm kind of glad that it didn't, and felt like everything worked out.
Yeah.
For the most part.
To side tangent, it was, as I was catching up, I was, like, messaging Austin my, like, commentary real time, and I said, you know what would be so funny? If this took a school day's turn. And he goes, no, that's not this kind of show. And I said, no. Take the plot point. I know you like this girl, and you're nervous to be close with her, so why don't you practice on me what you want to do with her? And then lo and behold, 2 minutes later, that's exactly what happened.
Oh my God.
And I was just, like, howling. I was like, no.
How dare you?
I know. I was so...
You want to wish those on these great characters?
I mean, I don't need anybody to get decapitated. I just knew...
They just need to get scuffed up a little, right?
Yes, right. I just knew that, you know, they were going to do the whole, you know, I like you, but I know you like her, so let's do what you want to do with her, and then you'll be experienced. I just knew that was going to happen, and lo and behold, Okada-san delivered.
So overall, would you say that, like, visually or even just in terms of metaphorically making you think in certain ways, is it, like, worth watching and worth giving a shot? Or do you feel like it's maybe something most people should shelve?
I think everybody should watch this once. I think especially for...
I'd say give it a 3-episode rule, see if you like it. Like, with a lot of Okada shows, it definitely... the bulk of the show is towards the middle, where I think it shines. It's just always the endings where I feel like shows like this and Kiss Niver just didn't have enough episodes to fully be what she envisioned.
Yeah, I didn't even finish Kisniver because I just kept getting so, like, annoyed by it. The only thing that I like... I think some of her best stuff is, like...
Anohana.
Makia. I loved Makia. I will defend Makia until I die. And then,
I'm still a big fan of Anohana, Anonatsu. Those are still
yes,
great
Anohana.
shows.
She did Gosick. She wrote the she did the composition for Gosick, and nobody's ever seen that show, but I really like it, and people should watch it.
Didn't she
Okay,
do The
good.
Lost Village?
What?
Didn't she do The Lost Village?
I don't know. But now that I've collected my thought, I would say I think this is one that everybody should watch at least once. And just due to a lot of the subject material, this is not something that I normally would recommend, because it is, honestly, it's hard as an adult watching people much younger than you talk about these things. It can be kind of uncomfortable at times because you feel like you're just in a conversation that legally you should not be in. But when you remember that you were there and, like, you just kind of wish you could go through the screen and be like, it's gonna be okay, like, it's normal to have those feelings, like, as a young woman, like, it's normal to feel that way, like, it's okay, like, you're not weird and you're not dirty and you're not gross. But I just would say don't expect the whole to be as good as some of the parts.
Like, it's worth watching for the good bits. When it's good, it's real good.
Yes, Sonozaki and her boyfriend alone are, like, the best part of that for me. So.
They're so wholesome.
They're
I
cool,
love them.
they're cute, I know.
Just remember, you're talking to #1 Sonozaki fan.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yep.
It's right there.
There we can see it. No one else can see it, but Edwin's Discord handle is #1 Sonozaki fan, and he has her picture as his icon, so...
I gotta find a new seasonal girl now.
Hey man, new season's just getting started, so
That's true.
plenty of time to find one. Yeah, any other final thoughts on it? Ultimately, overall, give it a shot seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, because it's only 12 episodes, I can definitely recommend it.
Yeah, you're not really wasting your time with it, I don't think.
You can knock it out in an afternoon.
Cool. I'll go watch it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Right now.
Right now. Bye, guys. Gotta go. You can finish this podcast without me, right?
Yeah, we're good. We got it.
Thank you for watching Third Impact Anime. Oh, wait. This is a podcast.
For watching Third Impact Anime.
Yeah, this
Sarah,
this
we need you back.
podcast is brought to you by the letter T
E.
for trains.
No, it's E.
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 世界中で一番眩しいものは何にも決まってない知らない明日両手にあるものなら未来だけ希望がページを今めくるよ
What are you guys looking forward to in the upcoming seasons? Because the only thing I'm excited about is Dorohedoro.
Oh, man. Yes. Same. I'm a little bit afraid, but then also excited.
Yes, it's just like nervous but afraid. Or wait. Excited but afraid. That's what
Yeah.
God,
Nervous
I'm
but
always
afraid.
nervous.
No good positives. Just nervous and afraid.
I want those big beefy women.
Right?
Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Give me the
It's
beefy
time
women
for
and the
me
lizard
to
men. Thanks.
Go to bed. I know.
Okay, all right, podcast
And if they
over.
if they don't draw them big, beefy, and muscly, they're cowards. They're
It seems
such
like they will.
cowards.
It
I
seems
think
like
they will. Yeah.
I paid good money.
Anyway, okay, yes, guys, go ahead. What are you looking forward to?
Oh gosh. I think definitely My Hero Academia has already started up, and I haven't grabbed those first couple of episodes yet, but I will. It's really just a whole lot of sequels, I feel like. There's There's like a second season for Grand Blue Fantasy that I would just mention before. I don't know what else really. I gotta go check my stuff.
So I'm currently watching that board game show, Hokago Psycho Club. It's definitely great. I'm also watching My Hero Macadamia. First 2 episodes have been pretty decent, like the rest of the series. And the only other show that is left over from the previous season is My Baseball Boys. I'm still watching them.
What's Chris up to, Edwin?
He's retired. You're so behind.
I am.
forgot
I've
he-
only watched like the first 15 episodes.
Of,
You gotta catch up.
Diano Ace?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like, what? Who's Chris?
Our good boy Chris.
It was like from 4 seasons ago.
God,
It's valid.
Just a memory.
A distant memory of our
think-
baseball boys.
Other than that, I just need to take a look to see what's available this season and give it the 3-episode rule and see what I can find that's decent.
Other thing is there's another mobile game coming out.
Oh no.
And this one's Theater Boys, so it's
Oh, boy.
my life.
Cool.
Yeah, it's called A3. It's literally just A3 exclamation point. Go follow them on Twitter so they can give us lots of free currency whenever the game actually comes out. Thanks.
My favorite.
Yeah, and it's basically
Nice
just where
showing.
you're on a search for your father and you end up finding this company he used to work for, and it's a theater company, and then you get
Oh
dragged
my.
into working for him. So it's
We've
got
all been
mystery
there.
to it.
Relatable
Right?
experience.
Hashtag relatable. But yeah, I think that's it in terms of what we're looking forward to. Outside of Halloween in general. Hello.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go trick-or-treating at AWA.
I'm so hoping that the people in the con hotel will be like trick-or-treating and like they will have their hotel room set up for people to knock on their door and get candy, which sounds like a wonderful but also horrible idea at the same time.
It could
So-
go really well. It could go not really well.
Also, speaking of AWA,
We're gonna be there.
Yes. Most people are going to be at Anime Week in Atlanta. Except for me.
yes, except for you, which is so funny because you were the one supposed to give the announcement.
I know.
That's your punishment for not going.
I have to tell other people about it.
Yes. So we'll be at AWA, and you can find the list of all of our panels, which I thought we were going to be doing more, but I have a lot of thoughts about that on our AWA episode. But they will be on our website, thirdimpactanime.com.
You can get Austin's autograph.
Yeah,
If you ask
sign
really
your con
nicely.
badge, come on.
Yeah. You just have to ask nicely and give him $10, preferably through Coffee or Patreon, so that everybody else at Third Impact Anime can also have that $10. Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. Bada bing. You can check us out at thirdimpactanime.com. We are also on Facebook. We're on Twitter at TI_anime. Also on Instagram, I believe.
Yes, we are on Instagram.
Yep. So check those out for more Anime Week in Atlanta news and other fun, fantastic things that may be happening. Once again, I'm Sarah Steele. You can find me personally at Unique X Harmony. If you want to yell about idle games, hit me up.
Yeah, if you want to follow me, I have a project coming out in a few days. I'll be talking about horror games with my 2 other co-hosts on Midshelf Gaming on YouTube. You can also follow us at Midshelf Gaming on Twitter.
You can follow me on Twitter at Where's Waifu. I'm usually screaming into the void while no one listens.
Great. Okay, bye guys.
Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.